We have all struggled when we see this form. My name is Lan Mao. So what is my first name, middle name, and last name? If you think my first name is Tan, my middle name is Lan, and my last name is Mao, you are wrong. So what's the first name, middle name, and last name for different ethnic groups in Singapore? Watch out and you'll be smarter. So, for a start, let's look at a common Western name. Now, the reason why I'm using a common Western name first is that many forms, be it on-9 forms or off-9 forms, they will usually follow the Western name orientation because you will usually see first name, middle name, and last name. Let's say we have a friend called James Tiberius Kirk. It's quite simple. The first name is James, middle name is Tiberius, and last name is Kirk. And here's the thing, the last name is the surname, which is the family name. The first name is a given name, which is unique to him. Sometimes, the middle name is not used. Therefore, for a Western name, it's simple. The first name is a given name, and the last name is the surname, which from now on, we'll just call it the last name. So, just remember, the last name is the family's name or the surname. Once you remember that, it'll be easier to understand this video. Let's move to the first ethnic group in Singapore, the Chinese. First and foremost, remember this, Chinese names have no middle name. So, if my name is Tan Lan Mao, Lan is not my middle name. Just think of Lan Mao as one word, not two words. And here's the interesting thing, since Tan is my family name, it is also the last name. Because remember, family name, surname is the last name. Because my given name is Lan Mao, you can call me Lan Mao Tan if we follow the Western orientation. But if we follow the Singapore or Chinese orientation, it will be Tan Lan Mao. This is why over in the US, people call TikTok CEO Shou Zhi Chew, even when his family name is Chew.
Senator, I'm Singaporean.
If he's in Singapore, we call him Chew Shou Zhi instead. So, how should you address a Chinese friend formally? Since my family name is Tan, you should call me Madam Tan instead. What? Shouldn't it be Mr. Tan, why? But you get the idea. When addressing a Chinese friend formally, you should always address them by their last name, which is their family name. So you should call me Mr. Tan. Now, next to Malay Singaporean names. Let's say you have a friend called Muhammad Asman bin Abdullah. Similarly, Malay Singaporean names do not have a middle name too. Instead of having a family name, Malay Singaporean names has the father's name instead, which is considered their last name. So, in the case of Muhammad Asman bin Abdullah, Muhammad Asman is the given name, while Abdullah is the father's name. And in this case, the father's name is the last name. So, once again, Muhammad Asman is his given name, and Abdullah is his last name. If it's a female, you'll be Binti instead of Bin. Here's the thing, when addressing a Malay friend formally, unlike how you address a Chinese friend, you don't use his last name. Instead, you will call him Mr. Muhammad Asman, which is his given name. Either that or just Mr. Asman. This is why we call our former president, President Halimah, not President Yaakob. And now, let's move on to Indian Singaporean names. Indian Singaporean naming conventions are quite diverse, so you have to be mindful, as it depends on their heritage and cultural background. The best way is to see how others are addressing them. For some Indian Singaporean names, it's the first name followed by the last name, but the first name is the given name, while the last name is the father's name. Yes, that's like a Malay Singaporean name. Let's use the name of someone whom we see whenever we look up at the school hall, Taman Syamuganan. His first name is Taman, and his father's name is Syamuganan. Therefore, his first name is Taman, and his last name is Syamuganan. Similar to Malay names, instead of addressing him formally with his father's name, which is Syamuganan, you should address him formally as Mr. Taman instead, which is his given name. That is why he's often called President Taman. However, that might not be the case for all our Indian friends. For example, we formally address our leader of the opposition as Mr. Singh and not Mr. Pritan. So how do we address them formally? Generally, unless you know explicitly how to formally address your Indian friend, just ask lah. After all, the best way to show your respect is to show that you want to be respectful. Lastly, this will be even more diverse, as while we might have the misconception that it comprises only Eurasians, it actually includes people from other communities like Filipinos. The rule of thumb is to ask. And if you have realized, the most important thing to take away from this video is this as long as you show respect by asking, that will be most respectful. If you think you have learned something, consider subscribing now. And also watch this video to know more about a secret Singlish word that's making us sound more Singlish. And thank you for spending almost 4 minutes with me. I really appreciate it.